Good afternoon and welcome back to the main auditorium. We hope you've had a memorable and beneficial day here with us at Women in Data 2016. We have covered so many industry hot topics and given personal insight and access into the careers of our industry leaders. We now move to today's keynote speech and close of Women in Data 2016.
Data Tech were absolutely delighted when Edwina agreed to host the closing spot for Women in Data 2016. And I personally had a moment of reflection and nostalgia. 17 years ago, I sat in the dunnhumby boardroom when Data Tech were pitching for business. And I sat in awe of this phenomenal leader in our industry. I can personally guarantee her inspirational capabilities. And I'd like you all to join me in a round of applause to welcome Edwina Dunn, the Godmother of Data.
Thank you so much. You're extremely kind, and I'm actually delighted to be here. I've spent years telling people that data's strategic and that my ambition was to make data sexy. And you have done that, and you are in the best possible era of data science. So you are a scarce resource. You are, I think, at a moment where people realize that algorithms and machine learning are cool, but they're not everything, and that storytelling and understanding data is super important. So I hope you have a fantastic career, and I hope that I can leave you with a few thoughts after today that might inspire you as I've learned from my journey. So, to wind back, where did it begin? It began quite a long time ago when I was actually a young geographer, and I arrived at a company called CACI, and that's where I learnt the dark art of data and data science. It wasn't called that then. There was no such thing as big data. There were just very, very big computers, because they were extremely slow and very, very cumbersome. And I remember, had our first office just down the road. We shut High Holborn to bring the computer in, and we were very proud of it. I mean, it was super exciting. That computer tested the first Oracle relational database. And when they put Oracle in, all the lights kind of went out on the whole of the street. It sucked all the energy. I won't say any more about Oracle, but it was a moment in time. I met Clive Humby there. I met him on my first day of work. I married him a year later. And the thing that most people find amazing, as do I, is that I am still married to him. And not only that, but we've worked together for 30 odd years. So it's an extraordinary journey. He is everything that I am not. He's a computer scientist. He's a mathematician. He's very, very smart. He sees patterns in data, and maybe there are some of you out there who are like that. I don't. What I see is talent. I built a business with him called dunnhumby that grew from our little room, back bedroom, in Chiswick many years ago, prior to us having children. And we sat there. We chose the smallest room in the house. I don't know why, but we obviously thought we would be moving out to an office very soon. And that's where we started the business. By the time we left, now 5 years ago, the business was 1,500 people in 30 countries, and we were analysing 350 million customers every single day. So it was a very, very exciting business. And the thing I'm most proud to share is that 50% of our workforce was female. Thank you. And the women were awesome. They're still awesome. I mean, some of the best talent I've ever seen. They ran countries, they ran product areas, they ran clients. Awesome talent. And I think that is because in some ways nobody knew that the data sciences was such a science at the beginning. But we do now, and that's why I think you're in the right place at the right time. So we did start the business. We had an amazing journey, and perhaps, you know, if there's time for a question, maybe we'll have a question later on. But that journey ended, as I say, 5 years ago. We sold the business, we left, we retired, we had a year off. It was fantastic. We travelled, we drank wine, and then we got bored. And I think the problem is, when you start liking data and what we do, it's quite addictive. You know, it was an exciting world. It was a very, very creative world. A lot of people say to me, because I speak out for STEM, and I try and encourage young kids into maths and physics, and they say, yeah, but I like the creative subjects. Well, maths is incredibly creative. The data sciences is. The storytelling is. So I think it's super creative. Please don't let anybody persuade you of anything different. And so, you know, that whole thing of attracting the right people and understanding the stories that data can tell was what underpinned the business. So it's also what attracted me back. I'm now studying social media, and that's the story I want to share with you today. So we're now looking at 900 million data points every minute of every day. And that's the social media graph of share, like, create content, speak, whatever it is. So 900 million data points. That's what we now analyse. We analyse it with cloud computing, open source software. Everything is different from what we created at dunnhumby. We no longer have to bring computers in through the window. It's extraordinary and very exciting. And the talented people in the business are still the university graduates, the people who've learned a skill and who kind of learn this as if it were as natural as breathing. And that's why they're so good, because they can't really imagine why people wouldn't analyse this social media data. What does it tell us? It tells us what people care about more than brands. It's a very important point. So we all probably at some stage work for brands. Brands spend multi-millions of pounds trying to get consumers to love their brands. What you see in social media is that consumers love brands about that much, and they love everything else about that much. So, as you, I hope, already know, you don't force consumers to the brand website. You try and work out how to be part of the conversation consumers are already having about the things that they love. And that's the new science that interests me. Anyway, enough of that. What I want to share with you today is how we've used that science to understand what young girls and young boys love more than anything. It's a bit of a dangerous question, but we've analysed it. We've analysed these 900 million data points, and what we've found, and it is a little bit shocking, what we found is that boys have a very varied and interesting mix of interests. So they love sports, absolutely adore sports more than anything. What's the second thing they love the most? Games, cars, yes, absolutely. They also love business. They also love politics. And they show us all of that in their social media footprint. So very varied. Here it comes. Guess what girls like? Yes. What else? Makeup. Yes. Celebrities. You got it. That's it. That's all we like. Fashion, makeup, and celebrities. Nothing else. Shame on us. Shame on us. What does that tell me? It tells me we define ourselves by how we look, not what we do. Now, you're different because you're in an important industry. But that's what interests me the most now. So my passion is all about a project that I've called the Female Lead. And the idea is that we help young girls and boys identify role models who do interesting things. They have interesting jobs, they've achieved amazing things. And so this project, which will launch in February next year, it comprises a book and films, and all of these are going to go free into schools. So the idea is that we will show young people that there are amazing ways to have a career and love your life. And this is the book. It's my only copy. It's the first copy. And it's 60 amazing women from across the world, not just people of power or wealth, but people who have fascinating, amazing lives. So the launch is February the 8th. I hope you'll watch it. I hope you'll go to the Female Lead website. And I hope you'll engage in the campaign, which is #She'sMyInspiration. And what we want is people to volunteer who inspires them.